Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings. This is the next video in the series. We are making inventory management system, and in this video, I'm going to basically wrap up the purchase order form. We have been working on purchase order form for the last two videos, and we have done a couple of design changes. We made the form, we did the VBA, we did a lot of stuff in the last two videos. So if you want to learn, you should watch those two videos and then come back to this video so you have the continuity in learning. So in this video, we are going to wrap up, which means we have to do a lot of work, which I'll explain in a bit. But before I jump right into, let me ask, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. All right, just do it. It's a free of cost. Subscribe button is there. Just hit it. All right. Okay. Now let me explain what we are going to do in this video. So I've done a couple of changes. I've added bit of information data, so let me explain first that. So products, in the products table, I've added products with the dummy pricing information, of course, and these products links to different categories, so which is good. We can use these products to create transactions, whether it is purchase and sales transactions. So that was required, so I've added that. Then if I double click on the purchase order, we can see that there are two changes right away. The first one is I've added a text box for the total amount, and basically someone asked me, hey, how about calculating the value of the purchase order and adding right on top of the form? So I thought, okay, I'll add that. I've added it offline, but I'll explain what it is, how I have done it. Then there's another button called delete product. Okay, and then there is other stuff we have to do, like for example, right now this list box is showing all the products from all the purchase orders, which is incorrect. This list box should only populate the products links to the purchase order in order number 2. That's what. So and bit more products updates we are going to do. So let me just start. First, let me explain the total amount, how that total amount is calculated, because if I'll close this, if I go to the purchase order number 1, the total amount is calculated based on the products added for the purchase order number 1. Okay, so let's go to design view. Let me explain how I have done it. It's quite simple. You add a text box. Maybe you copy the purchase ID text box and you paste it, and you go to the data tab, and you go to the control source of the data tab, and you add this line of code, which is the dsum function. It's very powerful. In one line of code, it fetches the information, calculates. So dsum is basically, we are asking access to sum. It is asking what should I sum. We're asking sum the total cost, which is located in purchase detail table, where the purchase ID equal to purchase ID. This condition is very, very important. Make sure you don't skip it. All right, otherwise the total amount will be incorrect. I'm just telling you. Okay, so that's what I've done. You can pause the video, watch what it is, and apply the dsum in your text box. All right, next I've added the delete button. What's the function, what's the purpose we are going to make? Well, if we have a product, if we have added a product in the list box in the database for a specific purchase order, and it was a mistake, so we have to delete it. So this button will help us to delete. Of course, there has to be some logics which we will apply. Okay, next what I want to do is I want to look at this text box, because the list box, because right now this list box is bound to one of the query that I made for the purchase order detail query, right? So this is the query. This text box, or why I keep saying text box, this list box is bound to that query, which is okay, which is fine. But what I would like to do is I would like to unbound this list box, right? Basically, I want to remove the row source of this list box, and I want to put that SQL statement behind this double click event of this list box. So whenever we open a purchase order by double clicking from this list box, it will automatically check what is the purchase ID number, and it will automatically check the line items or the purchase detail items from this table, and it will fetch the data and it will populate in here. Trust me, this is the better approach. Okay, that's why I'm doing it. Otherwise, for me, it was okay to just leave it like this. Okay, so it's quite simple. What I'm going to do is remove this row source. All right, that's it. Now it's done. Now how do we fetch the information now onto this list box? Because if I double click on any of the purchase order, boom, it's gone, right? So as I said, we are going to use the SQL statement. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to design view. Let's go to design view of this main form. I will select the list box on the main form, which is dashboard. I'll go to the event tab, on double click event, dot dot dot, And in here, this is the code, right, which basically opens the purchase order form. In here, we are going to use the select statement. We'll say forms exclamation mark puf list dot row source equals, what is the row source? Select statement. Select everything from where? From this query. Let me, all right, okay, but we have to put a criterion here. So pure detail where clause, where the purchase ID equals double quote ampersand me dot list dot column 0. Let me explain what I have done just now, and let me copy it also, because we are going to reuse somewhere else. I'll tell you why. Okay, let's close it. Now if I go ahead and go to the form view, purchase, and I double click, you can see that the information is being fetched from this query. Okay, so that's very important that we put that condition, the purchase ID number. Okay, now if I will open the form to create a new purchase order, let's click on that. What we have is this ugly looking list box. Basically the headers are gone because it doesn't recognize the SQL statement. So what we have to do is, let's go back to design view, let's click create dot dot dot, and in here I will paste whatever I have copied. Now before I move away, let me remove this list dot column criteria. Why? Because when I'm creating a new purchase order, I want the form to be blank. I don't want any criteria to be populated. So I'll just say 0. Okay, where the purchase ID is equal to 0. So let's see if this works. So we'll go to the form view and I click on create PO, and you can see that now we do have headings, but there's no more data in it. Okay, there's it doesn't look ugly. It tells what data should be coming onto this list box. All right, and if I double click on one of the purchase order, it actually fetches the information from this query and it populates, and the total is also being calculated. I hope you are with me until now, and I hope whatever I'm doing, it makes sense. All right, next what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to put a double click event onto this list box. So when I double click or user double click on it, I want the purchase detail form to be opened with this specific record. That's what I want. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll go to the design view and I will open the purchase details F. Let me copy the name of this form so we can paste it just to avoid any mistake. So we are going to do that, and what we are going to do that is we are going to transfer the information from this list box onto this form. Okay, and we will follow this sequence because this query has the similar sequence of the information, so it should be easy to follow this sequence. And let me explain this button also. If you recognize that this is a new button I have added offline, I'll explain it later. But first, let's go ahead and put the double click event. So we'll go to the event tab, on double click dot 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 code builder, and in here what we are going to do is, first of all, we are going to we're going to open the purchase details form. But before even doing that, if this list box is empty, we should throw a message box saying error. It will not work. It's logical, right? If me dot list dot column, okay, I have to put this NZ. All right, if there's no record in the list box, then throw a message box and say, hey, this action cannot be performed, comma, VB critical, comma, information. Okay, else, and let me close that with end if. And in here we are going to open the form first. So I'll say do cmd dot open form, and I'll paste the form name. Remember, I copied it, and let me hit enter. And now we'll say forms, let's paste the name again, and we'll say the first one is p detail id equals me dot list dot column 0. How do I know it resides in column 0? Because remember, there's a query, p detail id is in column 0. Essentially, Whatever information is populated onto the list box is replica of this query essentially. So that's why I'm referring to this query, if in case you are wondering why I'm referring to that. Okay, the next up we have the purchase ID, and let me copy this so we don't have to type all over again and again. So let me paste it. Okay, the next up we have the purchase ID, and that would be in column number 1. Next we have the product ID, column number 3. I think this is the sequence 0 1 2. Okay, that's the problem. 0 1 2. So why I'm typing 3, so that's 2. Then we're not worried about product column here. Next is the cost price. The cost price is column number 0 1 2 3 4. So column number 4 is the cost price. So let me copy that and let me add in here. Then now it's all sequence. Okay, so next column, and then we copy the total cost, and next column, now we copy the received quantity, and next column, and last we have the status, and that would be the next column. All right, that is it. Okay, so this form this event should work now, but let's test it out if this actually works. Okay, so yeah. All right, let me open this purchase order, and let me open vacuum cleaner, and it does work. All right, we can see that, we can verify 199 to 398. It does work. iPhone 13 Pro Max 855 4025. That is correct. Okay, so it seems to be working. Now let's talk about the next step. Next step, if you remember, on the first day of the purchase order form, when we were talking about, I shown the sequence of the logics that we are going to apply. But if you don't remember, don't worry, I'll take you back. So this is the slide which I've demonstrated. So these are the steps we are actually put into the practice when we are applying the VBA code, and these are the logics, you can say that, or the process that we are going to build in the application. So right now the first step is that on order. Right now, if you'll see, the order is not created yet, right? So status is new purchase order. The status for each line item in that purchase order is also new. So what we want is, let's say I'm happy with this, and as a user I want to proceed with this purchase order, so we can buy these products and we can have it in our stock. So what I need to do is I want to build the confirm order event. Okay, so there are multiple ways we can do that. Either we can have a button here, confirm order. That means you have to, or user have to click one by one, select and click the button, select and click the button to confirm the order. Or we can have magic of VBA to click on the confirm order button, and everything that is related to this purchase ID should be, the status should be changed to on order. So that's the logic. Okay, on order, that's the first logic that we are going to build. So let's go ahead and do that. But before I go ahead, let me have another thing that is very, very important, and that is the confirm order button should only be working if 3 set of conditions are met. Number 1, if the purchase ID is provided, if the total amount is not empty, and the total amount is greater than 0. If these 3 conditions are met, then the confirm order button should work. Otherwise, it should throw a message box and say the order cannot be confirmed, the purchase order cannot be created, all right, or processed. So let's build that into our VBA. So confirm order, event tab, on click event, ... and we are here. So we'll say if nz me dot, and we will say purchase ID equals double quote, or nz me dot what else, the total amount, what's the name, txt total, me dot txt total equal double quote, or me dot txt total equals 0. Then okay, now you understood what is the condition. If purchase ID is empty, txt total is empty, and the txt total is equal to 0, then throw a message box to the user and say, hey, this cannot be done. Message box, this action cannot be performed. Okay. All right. That should work. Else, and let's close that with end if. Okay. Now let's move on and let's write the code block which will actually confirm the order lines to be on order from new. And we will achieve that by using the SQL statement. All right. So I'll say dim str sql as a string. Okay. And in here, we will define what does str sql mean. So we'll say str sql equals, and we will use the update statement. Remember, there's select statement in SQL, there's update and there's delete. We'll use the update statements. So str sql equals to update. Update what? And that's the reference we are going to give. Uh, we are asking the SQL statement to update the record set, which is table, and this is the table name. And in that table, there's a lot going on. So Access is wondering, or SQL is wondering, what user want me to update. So we want the status to be set. Remember the keywords? Just focus on the keywords. We want the status to be set. Okay. So we'll say set what? Status equals single quote, and in the single quote, we will wrap that status on order. But hang on, we are not done yet. We have to put the where clause. Where purchase ID equals ampersand me dot purchase ID. Now let me explain that what I've done. Basically, I've told Access to actually look for the records in the purchase details table where the purchase ID is equal to purchase order form that I have opened. Whatever records, 1, 2, 300 million, whatever records you found, you actually execute the SQL statement and set the status to from new to on order. That's what I've done. Now we have to execute this SQL statement, then only it will work. And to do that, we will use the current db dot execute. So literally the word execute. And what are we executing? str, that's the query name, SQL. All right. And it is asking, hey, do you want to provide any options? Yes, we want dbc changes. Remember, this is very, very important. Okay, so that's done. And we also want this list box to be updated with the new status. So me dot list dot requery, and we want to throw a message box for confirmation to the user. To cmd dot beep message box, the purchase order has been processed. We are missing one thing, but let me explain and let me fix that as well. Okay, information. All right, so we are missing to give update to these two text boxes. So basically, let me explain. When user click on confirm order, so not just the status of the order lines should be updated, but also the purchase date should be provided, and the status should be changed from new PO to something else. So that also needs to be done. And this will be done using the record sets. Why? Because we have to update the purchase table with this set of information. So let's go ahead and do that. So this code now will be modified, and just pay attention. And now I'm going to declare another variable here for the record set to update the purchase table with this two set of information. So we'll declare it dim, let's say rs update PO as a record set. Okay. Now we will say, all right, let me give some space here. So we'll say set rs update PO equals current db dot open record set parenthesis open parenthesis close. All right, and double quote, and here we will provide the name of the table, and this two set of information is going where? The purchase table. So let's copy the name or to avoid any mistake, and let me paste in here. And then I'll say db open dynaset and db c changes. All right, so that's very, very important. Now we have declare the variable. We have set the variable equals to what a record set. And now what we are going to do is we are going to find this record set. So technically speaking, or in normal words speaking, we'll find this purchase ID in the list of hundreds and maybe thousands of purchase orders, because we want to update the status for that. So that will be done with this line of code: rs update po dot find first, right? That's very, very important. What are we looking for? We're looking for purchase ID. That's what we're looking for, equals me dot purchase ID. Okay. Once we found, then what we need to do? Well, we simply need to send the information from this form to this table. So first of all, we will declare what needs to be sent. So we'll say me dot purchase date equals, and we will say format, and we will format the now function to dd slash month slash year. Okay, like that. And then we will send the status. So me dot, so not mr, me dot status equals, so what do you want the status to be? From new po, because now the purchase order is processed. So we'll say po confirmed, something like that. Okay. You can choose the name, whatever you wish to do so. And now we will send this to set of information to the database table, and that will be done by these two line of codes. All right. So purchase date equals me dot purchase date, and rs update po exclamation mark status equals me dot status. All right. Once we have done that, okay, we have missed something here, and that is to update this in the table. We have to open the record set. So rs update po dot edit, and once we open the record set, we pass on this information. Now we have to update the record set. So dot update, and once we have updated the database table, we have to close the database table, and we have to set rs update equals nothing. That's very, very important. So hopefully with this line of code, what will happen, let me explain. With this, all of this code block, what we are achieving is, let me come back to the interface so I can explain. We are giving the information of purchase date and status. We are passing this information to the database table, and we are updating the database table for the purchase table. And then we are moving a little lower, and here we are looking at how many records in this list box, and we are changing the status of all the records to on order. That's what is happening behind the confirm order button. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test it out. That's what we do. So right now it's empty, new po, new. All right. So if our code works, this will be changed to po confirmed, on order, and we'll have a purchase date. So let's check it out, and you can see that here the purchase order has been processed, and you can see the purchase date, status, and the status here also on order. Okay, now let's just confirm whether the update is made or not, and we can see that the update is made. But hey, the status for this po is still new po, and that's because we have not given that magic line of code which will requery the list box. But if I click here, look at this, and you can see po confirm. So let's put that magic line of code which will requery this list box after the operation is done. So we'll go back to the pof form, and we'll confirm order, and we'll go here, and in here we will put that one line of code, and we'll say forms exclamation mark dashboard exclamation mark list dot requery. All right, now the list box should be updated as well. Okay, cool. Let's combine these. So maybe here. Okay, something like that. All right, so that is done, and now the next part is we have ordered the stock, right? we have ordered the stock. The next step is that we will receive the stock, right? And receiving the stock also, it's it, it is in itself is a huge task to perform. And for the developer, it is very important that you consider all the little details that needs to be considered. So if I double click here, and this particular, let's say, item, if we received it physically, we will check it. We will then confirm it, and we'll confirm by providing the quantity here and by clicking the button called GRN. What does GRN stand for? Goods receipt notification. Now, it's not a simple task. We can, if it is only updating or passing this information to the respective table, it would be very easy to do that. But think about the logic that we are going to build. And if I go back to my PowerPoint, in here I explained, if we receive the stock, right, we're not only going to update the respective table, but we are also going to update the other two tables, inventory and the accounting table. So let's say I receive 5 quantity. All right, so when I confirm that I have received the 5 quantity, the supplier needs to be paid, right, for that amount 4025. And this will be done by the accounting department. How the accounting department would know? Because they will check their ledger, right? They will check their records that, okay, we have to pay 4025 to Amazon. They would know because we have done the VBA coding behind the GRN button. So every time this button is clicked, the information is passed on to the accounting table as well. Not only that, when GRN button is clicked, we want the inventory table to be updated as well. Okay, that's what our initial idea is. And why do we need to update the inventory table? Because we want to make sure that the sales team would know that we have new 5 pieces available in our stock. That's why we need to update. So it's a little complex. It's not easy thing to do, and that's why I know I have, at the start I've said, we will wrap it up, we will complete the purchase order form, but I'm changing my mind, and we will go ahead and we will do this in the next video, right? So this purchase order detail form, we will do the VB coding behind GRN button in the next video. Let's keep it separately, because if you really want to understand, then we have to update 3 tables. That means it requires a little bit of work, and we will do that in the next video. But before I cut off this video, stop this video, let's do a VB code behind the delete product button. And the function of this button is to delete one of the line item from this list box, and that we will achieve by the SQL statement. So let's go back to the design view, and let's click on this button and logically think about it. If the line item status is on order, okay, I will repeat it. If the line item status is on order, it should not delete that line item. If the line item status is received, the item should not be deleted. Okay, so we have to put that logic. The item can only be deleted if the status is new. That's it. Other than that, it's not allowed to delete the item. So let's put that logic into this application. So I've selected the button, I've gone to the event tab, and I've we'll go to the on click event dot code builder, and in here let's put that logic. So first of all, first logic is I don't want the purchase ID field to be empty, right? If this field is empty, then hey, just simply say this action cannot be performed. Simple as that. Then if, for example, the total amount is empty and someone is trying to delete, what they are trying to delete? Nothing. So again, you throw that message box. So instead of this, what I'm going to do, I'll copy the code that we have just done behind the confirm button, right? This is the button and this is the logic. So we will copy the same logic and we will go to the behind the delete button. Okay, we also need to provide another logic. So for example, else if, remember I said that if the status is new, then only it should be deleted, otherwise it should not be allowed to be deleted. Okay, and so else if me dot status dot value uh, equals what's the status, on order, or me dot status, actually not me dot status, um, if the line item status, remember that, that's very important. So we have to give reference of this list box line item, not this status. So I was giving that status, so I suddenly realized that I'm doing the wrong code. So if the status of this line item is on order, don't delete it. Okay. So else if, how do we identify me dot list dot column, and what is the column number? Let's find out from where we are fetching the information, PO details, and this is the status column. So 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? So column number 8, right? 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. If the column number 8 equals double quote on order, or me dot list dot column number 8 equals grn, which means received, then again through this message box, we'll copy this, we'll paste in here that this action cannot be performed. Simple as that. Else and if. By the way, we can put more logics in here to protect the data, but as of now, let's say we'll keep the same. And now we'll put the else statement, which means if all of this is false, what should be done? So we are going to tell that delete the record from this table. So we'll say, how do we use the SQL statement to delete the record? Let's come back onto the top, and we say dim rs delete, okay, as string. Remember, we did that for the updating of the record as well. And in here, we'll say rs delete equals, and this time we will use delete keywords, right? Delete statement. Delete everything from, just be careful, okay? Just be careful while writing this line of code. Delete everything from PO details. PO details. Where clause is extremely important. I will repeat, be careful. If you forget to give where clause, what will happen? Everything will be deleted. So you must ensure that you are giving the where clause at the end of it, where the PO line ID, we are referring to this, sorry, P detail ID. All right, so P detail ID equals, all right, equals to what? Equals to me dot list dot column 0, the record that we have selected. The record, where it is here, the record that we have selected equals to that. Only delete that line item. So that's very, very important that we put the where clause at the end. And now we have to execute this. So we'll say current db dot execute, and what is the name? Rs delete. That's the name of the string we want to execute. And it is asking, hey, do you have options? And yeah, we do have options. db c changes. Okay. And once it is done, we will update the list box. We will give a message to the user as well that, hey, it is done. So we will say me dot list dot requery and do cmd dot beep and message box, the record has been deleted from PO, something like that, comma VB information, comma information. All right. Now, one more important thing before we go ahead and check it out is we come back here, and in here we are going to pass on error resume. Well, actually, let's test it out first, because I want you to see it, what I'm going to do, and then you will understand. All right, first of all, let's hope that it works. Okay, let's really do. So right now the status is on order. Technically speaking, it should give us an error that, hey, this cannot be deleted. So let's check it out. And yep, this action cannot be performed. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and open another PO where this action can be performed right now here, and it should technically delete the line item. So let's hope and see that. So delete product, and this is the button. This is the error. Could not delete from specific tables. Okay. Now, why? Because the table is not provided at all, right? So it's only PO details. That's not the table name. That's why it says, hey, I can't do that. And that's really silly mistake from me again. Really silly mistake. So PO details, we cannot delete from the query. We have to refer to the table itself. And the table is this one. Okay. That's really silly mistake from me. Okay, there you go. And let's test it out once more. All right. And this time it says record has been deleted. Great. That's what I wanted to demonstrate. And you can see that total amount is also empty. So the record is being deleted. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to demonstrate in this video. As I said, I thought we'll finish everything, but it's already quite long video. I would like to stop right here. And in the next video, we will actually wrap it up. So in the next video, we will see that, what else I have missed. So we will finish that here. And we will also ensure that, the GRN operation is performed and the respective tables are updated successfully. So that's why I've kept GRN a separate video. It requires, it deserves. I really hope that you have learned something from this video. If you do, if you have, please let me know in the comments below, and smash the like button so I understand that you have liked the content what you have seen. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do, and hit the bell icon so you got notification whenever I upload any video. Well, that's it from me. Until the next time, thank you very much. Bye bye.